All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that because the last thing we did was to make sure, and I'm going to run this again, just run your code one more time. And then, of course, when you run the code, clear everything, click your run, which is usual. And then you go to your VNC. And then once you're on the VNC, you notice that there's obviously the screen, which is when you click OK, you can click in the any part of the screen and you go to the menu option. Now it says click on any to select to place your burger order. Now you say OK, and this is the first one that we did. Okay, most likely you might have all the other ones done. I'm not really sure, but if you do have the other ones done, then that's great. Just take this as like a reminder and a review. But based on what I have, the first one is I click on the first option right here, the classic crown. It says you've chosen the classic crown, and I say, okay, how many would you like? So if I don't put anything and I say, okay, it doesn't allow because it has to be a number. So if I say, okay, now I need to put something. So maybe I want to choose two of that. Then it says you've chosen two classic crown burgers. And now I click okay, nothing really happens. So at this point, what's supposed to happen is that it's going to go to the order form, which is going to be a smart order form. Okay. So the order form, the idea is that it's supposed to be a smart one and it's supposed to move on such that we're going to use another library called Thinkter because there we will be able to allow the user to actually type into the form and be able to place text boxes and whatnot to look like an actual form. But before we get into that, let's make all of these burger orders clickable. Okay, so right now on the code, if you go to your code, go to your make screen clickable function, or just look for where we said if the screen number equals 2, which is like right now we're on the menu screen. So when we talk about 2, we're saying menu screen. Okay, and then one thing we want to do, and I'm gonna kind of zoom in here, is we want to get like all the other clickable stuff. So we need to put the second burger order here. Okay, second burger selection right here. And then, of course, we're going to do the third burger selection. So this is the second one. Then we're going to do the third burger selection. Third burger selection. We're going to be putting all of them, making sure all of them are all clickable, and pretty much just do the same thing that we've done here for all the other ones. The only difference is that we're going to change this clicking condition. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my console, and something I particularly like to do is to not have too much of this stuff because this can be confusing to see all the stuff and just know which one's the coordinates. Otherwise, you can still have this, it's okay. Because if you go back to your VNC, and I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit here again so that everything can be shown on the VNC, then if you click on the first top, remember to make things clickable, bottom, then you're going to get those coordinates, and that's like the last four. Always focus on the last four coordinates because that's what you need. Okay, so what I'll do for me is I'll stop everything from running again, and then I'll clear all my past runs. And this time when I want to run, I'm just going to run the application, just one thing, so I don't have too many things here. Okay, just like this. Now I'll go back to, again, to run my code, click OK, the normal run, click anywhere on the screen, and then I come to the main menu option. Then I click OK. Now I want to get my coordinates for all of these options and make them all clickable before we go into the form. So I'm going to click at the top, bottom, like that. All right. And so I've gotten my, let's get back to this console. I got my 4 coordinates right here. So I'm going to stick with the 4. Okay. Now on the left side, remember what we do? We pick from the left side. Those are your X coordinates. Pick the smallest and the largest. So the smallest is 28. The largest is 189. So basically I'm coming back here on my second burger selection, and I'll do similar to what I just did here. Okay. So what I'll do, and something else that you can do to make this even easier is we can have another function, okay? And then in that function, we pretty much just copy everything we have here and put it in that function. So we don't have to keep repeating the same code. Okay, so I hope you understand what I mean. So we want to avoid repeating this typing of this code every single time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all of this inside of a function because that's going to be easier. So what we'll do is the only difference, or the only thing we don't need to obviously put, is the user selection. Okay, so user selection, we don't need to put that in a new function. So what I want you to do is go to the part where it says if screen number equal to. I want you to create a function called user confirmation. Okay, and then in this function, I want you to copy everything you have from here to here. Like, look very closely, okay, where you have this thing starting at. You have chosen, okay, maybe starting at, you've chosen classic crown. We're gonna have to keep that one there because this is the user selection, so let's keep that there. But then when it comes over to how many do you want, and then like all the way from here to here, this part, we don't have to keep repeating this for all the code blocks, like for all of our selections. So what I want you to do before we do that if statement, just copy everything from here, cut it out, or if you cannot copy and paste into this function that we just created, then just type it again. And when you finish typing, just delete from here to here, okay? But I'm gonna copy everything, I'm gonna cut it out, and then I'm gonna come back here and paste it. Easy peasy. See what I just did? I copied and I pasted it right here. Okay. So once you've done that inside of this function, the next thing you want to do is you want to call this function so that you can see, so that now, when you just write the name underneath here, after you've allowed them to make their selection, and maybe it's classic crown, and then you say you selected classic crown, then you're going to call this function right here, the one that we just created, because that's just going to be easier. And you're going to do this for all the other selections so that we don't have to keep repeating this code over and over again. So we avoid repetition. Now, if you still run your code, you're going to see that it's still going to work just like before. But now we just shortened the code and we've made it such that this function has everything we need. Now let's try it again and let's see. So if you stop again, go to your console, click run. And again, like I said, one thing I prefer to do when I run, I'm actually going to stop it again one more time. Something I prefer to do is I don't want to have all these like runs. So I'll just go to workflow and start just the application. So I have like a clean space over here. Now, when you come to VNC, click OK, click anywhere on the screen. Same thing like before. Click OK, select your first option because that's the one we just did so far. It says you've chosen Classic Crown. I'll say OK. How many would you like? I'll not put anything in there. And let's see if this function that we just did right now, is it working where it detects that I didn't put anything, right? Because you said is none. Or I put a 0, for example. It's supposed to do this and it's supposed to do this. So let's see if it works. So what's going to happen is I'll just come back here and then I'll just put nothing. And you can see it's not letting me, right? But if I put 3, then it's letting me, it says you've chosen 3 classic browns, and I say okay, and that's it. So that's perfect. So it works perfectly well. So that's what we're going to do for all these other options right here. So again, I'm going to click my top for the second option around the select. Get my coordinates, go to your console, the last 4. Look at the numbers on the left side, pick the smallest, minus 29, and the biggest is 180. So come back here underneath where we said second burger selection. Right underneath that, we're going to write if again is greater than or equal to, my smallest is 29, and x is less than or equal to my biggest, which is 180. And then y is greater than or equal to my smallest, which is on the y coordinates. You're going to look at all the numbers on the right side. So my smallest is negative 64 and my biggest is negative 6, right? Because that's obviously how negative numbers work. So here I'll write negative 64 and y is less than or equal to negative 6. Now, once you're done, come back here. Do the same thing again. This time, my user selection, what did the user choose? So what's the name of this burger? We need to know because we're going to put this in the form. So the name of this burger, particularly for what the user has chosen, let's go back to see the VNC. Mine is called the Firehouse, and then I have the BBQs, the Smoky BBQ. So you have to put it according to your burger name. So what I'll do is I'll write the Firehouse, okay? And then now I'll just do the same thing again. You can pretty much type this again. You've chosen the Firehouse. And then we're going to call that function called user confirmation, where they will have to like confirm that that's like how many orders they want to place. So that's pretty much it. My second selection is done. Let's go to the third burger selection. So remember, we've organized everything. This is my first burger selection. I'm putting in comments so things are organized. This is the first burger selection. This is the second burger selection. And now we're going to do the third burger selection. Okay? So let's go over for the third one right here. Now go back to your VNC again. You don't have to keep rerunning this every time you want to get a coordinate. You can just come back to your console and highlight the very last coordinate that you have so that you know that's for the previous select button. But if you're going to get confused, then you can stop it and run it again so that you can do the third select button. But for me, I can just continue. So I'm going to click again, top edges right here, bottom edges right here for my third one, which is smoky BBQ. And then, of course, I'm going to write that if x is greater than or equal to, for my smoky BBQ, I've got the last four. Always go with the last four. Last four. That's how you know it's like for the current one you've done. Now, looking at all the numbers on the left, my smallest is 465. My largest is 615. So that's for the x, right? So 465, and x is less than or equal to 615, and y is greater than or equal to. So let's look at y. So looking at y coordinates, like the last four, my smallest is negative 59, my biggest is negative 4. So it's greater than negative 59, and y is less than or equal to negative 4. So this, what kind of burger is this? This is my smoky BBQ. So basically, I'm going to write down the smoky BBQ just like this. Okay, type it out yourself or use the tab key because the AI does provide you those help suggestions. And now call your function, which is that user confirmation. We always have to go there because we always have to ask the user how many they want, and we have to confirm that they're actually entering the correct number of things. Okay, so now next thing you're gonna do is the fourth, okay, so the fourth burger selection. So we've done the second, the third, and now the fourth one. Now for the fourth burger selection, if you go back to your VNC, we've done all three of the top. So the fourth one for me is going to be the truffle royale. So what I'll do is click again the top edges, the bottom edges, and then go back to my console and I'll focus on the last four coordinates, okay? Looking at the numbers on the left, I'm going to pick the smallest, and the smallest is negative 404. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the smallest, negative 404. And then the largest is negative 248. Okay, so that means I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say if x is greater than or equal to negative 400, and go back and check again. Smallest is 404 and negative 248 is biggest. So negative 404, and x is less than or equal to negative 200, and what is the biggest? 248. Okay, so negative 248. And then y is greater than or equal to, so on the right side, the y coordinates, oops, let's go back here, negative 348, and the smallest is negative 293. So negative 348, and y is less than or equal to negative 293. Okay, so the user selection is for me, now just to be sure, it's the truffle royale. So that means I'm going to write user selection equals to truffle royale. And of course, I'm going to ask the user to confirm the order, and then I'm going to do that user confirmation, call that function again. And that's it. And we are done with the fourth one. And now let's do the fifth burger selection. So the fifth one again. Now go back again to your VNC. So now I've finished with that. Now I'm going to do the veggie delight. So just click the top edges again. And then click the bottom edges. And then I've got my select clickable now. So go back to your console. Check the last four coordinates. And again, look at the numbers on the left. So my smallest is 27 and my largest is 184, right? So if x is greater than or equal to 27 and x is less than or equal to 184 and y is greater than or equal to, and so my largest y is negative 350 and my smallest is negative 292, okay? So it's greater than or equal to negative 350 and y is less than or equal to negative 292. Oh, 292. Now, again, user selection. What is this? Go back and check. This is my veggie delight. So the veggie delight. So come back here and write that down. So that's going to be equal to the veggie delight. Okay. And then come back here and, of course, ask the user to confirm and then call the user confirmation. Now, that's for that. Now, let's go on to the sixth burger selection. So this is the last one, and that's for the Alps adventure for me. So click the top edges, and then now we're going to start working on doing the form, okay, designing the form. So once you've done this, obviously come back to your main again, and then put your if statement here. So if x is greater than or equal to, and this time, let's look at the console. So the last one again. So basically, we've got 462 is my smallest and 617 is my biggest. So 462 and x is less than or equal to 617 and y is greater than or equal to, looking at the console, is negative. So I'm looking at the last four here. Negative 347 and negative 295 is my smallest. So negative 347 and y is less than or equal to negative, what is this other one? Negative 295. So negative 295. Okay. And so this is my last sixth selection. And so for this one, the last one is the Alps adventure for me. So that means user selection. This is what the user is choosing, equals to the Alps adventure. Okay. And of course, we come down to the next part and we confirm it and we call the user confirmation. And that's it. So everything is now done in terms of all the burgers. Like all of them are all clickable. So we have to try and test it and see if everything works. Then we're going to start designing our form so we can make our form, obviously, and make it look good. That's what we're aiming for. So what we want to do is to test this and see if everything's working now that we're done, right? We're done with all of the if statements. Look at how they all look, nice and neat. Okay, so we've put the comments to identify what each one is. And if you have, obviously, when you get here, that's pretty much where you stop because we all did 6 burgers. Now let's come back to console. Remember what I like to do is run the application. So keep everything looking clean here. Go to your VNC, click on anywhere on the screen, and then you can pretty much click on anything. So it says select. So let's say I decide to select this one. You see, it says you've chosen Veggie Delight. Okay. And I didn't put any number. So if I put a 0, it also wouldn't accept because it doesn't accept zeros, right? It says you need to enter a valid number. So let's say I want 8 of the Veggie Delights, and then it says you've chosen 8 classic. Oh, and by the way, one more little thing. It says 8 classic crown burgers. We have to change that. Okay. You've chosen 8 classic crown burgers should not be the case. So we've got to go and look at that. Yeah, it's the problem is here. Okay, this is where we're having the problem because it's still keeping what we copied from the first burger selection. So it's pretty easy to fix this problem. What we'll do is we'll basically just call the name of our user selection. Instead of saying this, it should just say whatever the user is selecting. So what I want you to do is go back to this function called the user confirmation function. And I want you to remove this line right here. Look for the line that says confirm or confirm amount. Take this comment out. And instead of this comment, we're going to write user selection. Okay. And if you get if you don't get a red line or whatnot, you got to make a spacing before you write user selection. You have to put a space, like a quotation mark, and then put user selection like this. This is really important. One more thing also to do is make sure you come to this function where you created the user confirmation function. And it's really important that you global user selection. Okay, this way the computer actually knows where you're getting it from. Otherwise, it would not recognize what user selection is. So you have to global it because it is coming from here depending on what they click. So it's always going to tell them you've selected this, this, and that, depending on what they select. Now, once you've made this change to changing and adding quotation mark and a plus sign because this is a variable and this is obviously a text. Now let's try it and see now. You go to your console, stop again, clear your past run, go to your workflow, start your application, go to your VNC, run it again, okay. Click the screen here, and of course click OK. Now let's try anything else. Truffle. You've chosen truffle royale. Okay. If you don't put any number, you put like 0, it's not going to let you. So you have to put a number. So 3. And now it's telling me you've chosen truffle royale. Okay, that's great, but the number is too close to you notice the number is too close to the name of the burger. So we have to fix that a little. So there's like this is effective, but it's not very effective because we have to give a space so that it indicates that it's space, okay? So now again, console, stop, clear your past runs, run your code. Again, you can run from the main play button. You don't have to run from application. I just like to keep here neat. Now, once you come here, click OK, and now click anywhere on the screen as usual. And then click OK, and I'll click the Alps Adventure. It says you've chosen the Alps Adventure. Okay. How many would you like? I'll say 2. And it says you've chosen the Alps Adventure. Okay, that's fine. So now it's writing everything correctly. When you click OK, nothing happens. If you click another one, you've chosen Truffle Royale. How many would you like? Let's say I say 12. You've chosen 12 Truffle Royale. So that's good. Everything works fine. Smoky BBQ, the Smoky BBQ. Okay, if I click like 11, it says you've chosen 11 Smoky BBQ. So all's good. Now we need to start working on the form because it needs to go into the form where they can now, it's like a smart form. It's going to know what they've chosen. It's going to put it there. It's also going to allow them to confirm the order and enter their name. And then we have like a nice receipt for them at the end. And that's pretty much it. So a very simple ordering system. Okay, so let's work on the form right now.